What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I am your host, Chris Raybon. This is your NFL Week 11 Fantasy and DFS preview. As always, I am joined by one of the most accurate fantasy football rankers in the game, the odds maker, Sean Kerner. Sean, what's going on?
What's up? Hit a nice Tanner Hudson touchdown call and a great showdown slate play. All in all, last Thursday night we were showing a ton of value in our touchdown tool as well. He was 10-1. I think we were projecting him like closer to 8-1. So that was a great hit. I was also considering taking his over on receiving yards. Instead, I took our boy Josevich. And it was that fourth down catch that they had to review to clear it. So that was way more stressful than it would have been just, betting on Hudson's over.
Yeah, had Hudson hit. Also, Taysom Hill got a touchdown called back, unfortunately. Your boy Jaylen Warren fumbles at the 1. So a couple of near touchdowns, but had some other good calls. Jennings, a good game. Estimate took over as the lead back. So try to keep it going for week number 11. But before we get started and talk all things NFL, a reminder that Sean and I have teamed up with DraftKings, and they've got a new way to play fantasy basketball and win cash prizes. It's called DraftKings Pick 6. Sean, you and I both big NBA fans, especially once the NFL wraps up. But we're all over Pick 6. And for anyone wondering, here's how it works. You get to pick 2 to 6 NBA players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. So points, assists, rebounds, all that good stuff. You lock in a lineup, compete against your opponents for a shot at huge cash prizes. When I'm building my pick set, one strategy I like to use is targeting rebound less thans for a big man when he's going against an opposing big man that has good shooting range and can set up on the 3-point line in offense and kind of pull him away from the rim. Sean, what about you?
For me, it's all about correlation, finding a few picks that correlate with each other. An example would be, if you're taking a more than on a player for their points scored or 3-pointers, take their teammate that, dishes them the ball and take their more than assists. You could also add, a less than for one of their opponent's rebounds, assuming that, there's going to be more made baskets. It's all about, just going 3-0, 4-0, or 0-4 or 0-5. But when you correlate, you're just going, for maximum exposure there. So I think that's a great way to get leverage in these as well.
All right, and a reminder, if you want to play too, you'll want to download the DraftKings Pick 6 app. Right now, new customers can play $5 on their first pick set and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. You just download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use promo code FLEX6 at signup. That's FLEX and the number 6 at signup. All right, let's go to the main slate. We got the Ravens at the Steelers. The Ravens are favored by 3.5 on the road. The total for the 8.5 in this one. I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth for the Steelers at 4,200. The Ravens are 26th in DVOA against tight ends. Freiermuth has been he hasn't really been doing too much these last few weeks, or really this whole season. I think he's going to be a little bit overshadowed by, Mike Williams, a potential uptick in playing time. And then you got, Deontay Johnson and all those cheap Ravens receivers who actually did go off last week, and might get Likely back. So a lot of options in this one. I think Freiermuth is going to go a little bit under the radar, but Baltimore's really been struggling against tight ends. And I think the better the Steelers get at wide receiver opposite Pickens, it's going to just take more pressure off the middle of the field and Freiermuth. So give me some Pat Freiermuth at 4,200 against Baltimore. Minnesota at Tennessee. The Titans are 6-point home dogs. Total only 39.5 in this one. Who do you like?
I don't like that I'm getting this matchup because I was curious to see if Naylor was going to be yours, so we could know if there's
right.
100% chance of a touchdown. But I'm going to go with Tajay Spears here at 4,700. And Tony Pollard was a clear workhorse back when Spears was out for that 3-game stretch. But the coaching staff hinted they wanted to limit Pollard's workload to keep him fresh. Plus, he's been dealing with a foot injury, just been missing practice. So he's not 100% right now. So sure enough, last week it was more of an even split with Spears returning to action, really just dominating the passing down work. So in a matchup where, the Titans will probably be trailing again here, against the Vikings. I like Spears' upside, and really it's going to be interesting to see Levis against this Vikings defense. I think one way to get around this is, maybe create some easy dump offs to Spears. So he could catch a few balls here, and I think Spears is a very talented, underrated back too. So I think his ownership's getting very low at 4,700, but definitely worth a flyer and some GPPs here.
Yeah, now that he's healthy, I think he does continue to take some snaps away from Pollard, because Pollard was just playing like a little too much, I think. I mean, he was doing he was doing well, but I don't think they wanted to play him. They never intended to play him that many snaps. Yep. So next up, we got the Browns at the Saints. Saints -1 at home. The total 44.5. Got to go with MVS here. Marquez Valdez-Scantling at 4,400. And the reason being, Cleveland does tend to play a lot of man coverage, and that could leave MVS with some opportunities in one-on-one deep down the field. Of course, he had the 3 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week. Not expecting anything like that this week, but could catch a long one or two. He's essentially the Saints' Rashid Shaheed replacement. Yep. So, with Derek Carr back, he is going to just throw up some prayers to MVS. I think that'll be a weekly staple. And MVS, even with the 109 yards, still has some room to grow on his route rate. He was only in the 60%, in the mid-60s last week. So that could jump up to, the 80s or 90s where Shaheed was at. So like MVS this week at 4,400. Jags at the Lions. Lions 13-point favorites at home. The total is 47. Sean, who do you got in this one?
I'm going to go with Gabe Davis at 4,700. He's obviously having a very quiet season, but last week he returned after pretty much a 2-game absence. He had to leave the game early a couple weeks ago, but came back, ran a route on 93% of Mac Jones dropbacks. Didn't do much, 1 catch for 19 yards. That's kind of a typical Gabe Davis line there right now. But with Christian Kirk done for the season, he's going to see more targets going forward the rest of the way. So this could be it will be a pass-heavy trailing game script for the Jaguars. So, Davis could get some garbage time, deep balls here. All he really needs to do is catch 1 or 2 passes here downfield, maybe a score. And I don't think his rostership will be, much of anything here at 4,700. So I think he's a great flyer here and some GPPs.
Yeah, you would think Jacksonville was going to be in a trailing game script. I mean, they managed to stay close last week, but that was kind of fluky against the Vikings. All right, Packers at the Bears. Bears 6-point home underdogs, a total of 41. Could see a little bit of weather in this one, but I'm going to go with Tucker Kraft, tight end for the Packers at 4,400. He had a 100% route rate in the game before the bye. It was the second time in 3 games that he had a route rate of at least 97%. So he's out there as much as any tight end in the league for this Packers team. And Chicago's giving up the 10th most receiving yards per game to tight ends. And if there's any weather, maybe Jordan Love is not chucking it deep quite as much as usual. So like Tucker Kraft in this one. All right, Raiders at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins 7.5-point favorites at home. Total 44.5. Sean, what do you like in Raiders Dolphins?
Have to go with Jalen Wright here at 4,900. He's a rookie. I was high on entering the season. Didn't love the landing spot just because he opened up the season as the number 3 back, but certainly a ton of opportunity if Achane or Mostert ever miss time. Achane and Mostert are both healthy right now, but last week, Jalen Wright essentially leapfrogged Raheem Mostert to be the number 2 back. Mostert didn't see a single rush attempt, so that means that this is a great spot for Jalen Wright. If he were to get 5 to 10 rush attempts, which I could see happening here, this could be, an easy win for the Dolphins at home against the Raiders. He could absolutely break a long run or two, and cash in at 4,900. I don't think his rostership will be that high. I don't think a lot of people are too into him now. They're not looking to invest in the number 2 back on the Dolphins. But we saw with Achane last year, this offense is more than capable of supporting 2 fantasy relevant backs with Tua, back under center. So this is a sneaky spot to play right before the inevitable breakout game that I think is coming, and it could happen this week. So give me some Jalen Wright and some GPPs this week.
Yeah, and if you get a big lead, which it's possible. You're 7.5 point favorite. He could just get some mop-up duty, which would always be helpful. All right, let's go to Rams at Patriots. Patriots are 4.5 point underdogs at home. The total is 43.5. I like both tight ends in this game. Hunter Henry for the Patriots at 3,900. The Rams are 23rd in DVOA against tight ends. Henry running a route 80+% of the time with Drake May. And then Davis Allen took over officially for Colby Parkinson as the number 1 tight end for the Rams. 88% route rate, 5 catches on Monday night against the Miami Dolphins. So this is one where if you're not really paying attention, you're probably still looking at Parkinson as the starter, but Allen is min priced at 2,500 on DraftKings. So 88% route rate potentially at 2,500. I think you got to take that as well. So like Allen as well in this matchup. Colts at the Jets. The Jets are favored by 3.5. The total is 44 in Jersey. Who do you like in Colts Jets?
Going with the rookie, A.D. Mitchell here at 4,400. Last week, I bet his over 26.5, 39.5, and 49.5 at plus 310. The Discord didn't want me to give that out and convince me to curse it, so I didn't. So I went with the Caleb Williams prop that blew up miserably at the end there. But I figured this is Mitchell's breakout game, and sure enough, it was. He got 6 balls, 71 yards. So assuming Joe Flacco remains under center this week, which looks like it's going to be the case, and Michael Pittman's out, which we don't know yet. I think that continues even with the tougher matchup against the Jets. Even if Pittman's active, Mitchell could still easily haul in 1 or 2 deep passes here and have an even lower rostership. But I think he's very talented. My comp for him was T. Higgins entering the season. I think he's legit. A little bit raw. It's not his route running. He's not good at improvising mid-route, or he's been kind of improvising too much. I would put it that way on his route. So just the fact that they've been going between Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, 2 completely different quarterbacks, I think that's really stunted his growth. And we've pointed out he's had so many missed big plays. But now that they're kind of sticking with Flacco, I think that's going to help give him some stability. And then if Pittman's banged up and misses time, that's just going to give him more snaps. So I think we're kind of in the middle of seeing Mitchell's breakout, and he's just a guy that I just really want to invest in before a lot of people are kind of on him.
Yeah, he finally was able to get another start and came up. Well, he got 6 for 71, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And Pierce is going to be that deep threat, so he's not going to command a ton of target share. Downs, Flacco's probably targeting Downs too much at this point. He telegraphed one for a pick, I think, on his first drop back. So that wasn't great. No. But yeah, Mitchell is a talented player. He looks like he's going to get more time. I think Pittman's been struggling through nagging injuries all year, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't get maybe another week off at least. Falcons at the Broncos. Broncos 2.5 point favorites. The total is 44. Got to go with Audric Estime, running back for the Broncos in this one. He's 4,500. Played 45% of the snaps, had 14 touches last week. I think he's going to continue to be the early down back in this spot. And the Broncos, they are favored at home here. So it is a good projected game script for Estime. Javonte Williams probably still gets the pass down snaps, and McLaughlin will mix in as well. But anytime you can get, potentially, mid-teens in touches for a running back that's priced at 4,500, I think you got to take it. So like Estime in this spot, good chance to get a touchdown here at home as a favorite as well. Seahawks at the 49ers. Niners 6.5 point favorites. The total up at 50.5. Sean, who do you like in this divisional matchup?
I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall here at 4,900. Obviously, I like Juwan Jennings as well. I already mentioned he's taken over the Brandon Ayuk role, and Pearsall's essentially taken over the Juwan Jennings role. So, Pearsall ran around on 71% of Purdy's dropbacks. Had an excellent game, 4 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. He's still coming back from a significant injury. He got shot right before the season started. So I think he's going to get better and better. Very talented receiver. I thought they kind of drafted him because they were going to move on from Ayuk, and ironically enough, they kind of have to right now with Ayuk out. So I think it's still a good time to be investing in Pearsall at 4,900. You know, he might be a bit popular, but I don't care. I think he has a solid high floor, high ceiling combo in this offense. And again, I just love his upside, so I'm going to keep investing in him while we can.
Yeah, he looked really good out there. He's going to be a top 3 guy going forward for this Niner team, at least for the rest of the year. So like him this week as well. Big game of the week. Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 2.5. The total is 45.5. Going to go with Mac Hollins here for the Bills. Still don't know how healthy Amari Cooper is, but Keon Coleman already ruled out again. So it looks like Mac Hollins is going to continue to play a sizable role in the offense. He's 3,800, coming off a 86-yard 4-catch game. The game before that, he had 5 catches for 30 and a touchdown. And we've seen Mac Hollins be productive in the past, with the Raiders a couple years ago. So in this kind of role, I think he, in this kind of game, could be a game where Buffalo has to throw even more than usual. So like Mac Hollins, again, I think Curtis Samuel has just been unproductive enough that even if Cooper comes back, I think Hollins still is going to remain a starter, and Samuel will go back to more of that situational number 4 type of guy that they scheme some touches to here and there. But Hollins, for his run blocking, I think he'll be out there getting starter snaps even when Cooper returns as long as Coleman's out. So let's go with Matt Hollins at 3,800.